Hi, this is Karen, and I just want to remind you, pro tip, don't forget about archiving. So if you create a bill sheet and you've gone through, so I've got this telemedicine and I've got my query, and maybe I spent some time figuring out these words, and then I've gone through and I vetted these bills and I removed some things that weren't relevant. And now I want to share it as part of a blog post, or I want to tweet it and say, here's the bills that matter, or I otherwise need to share it with people and I'm not sure exactly when they're going to look at it. Then what I can do to make sure no additional bills get added that I haven't vetted, so that people are looking at not what I meant to share, then I can go to the Manage tab and say Archive Bill Sheet. And if I do that and save, now it's going to lock it in place. So what that does is it tells us to stop checking the bill sheet and adding new bills to it every night. So now it's frozen. We will still update the latest action and the bill progress. So the sheet itself, the actual data, stays current and correct. But we will not add additional bills to it. So if you're trying to share a certain set of bills, then you can always lock it in place with Archive. And that way you're sharing exactly what you meant to share. Nothing will change out from under you. Also, if you are going to share this with somebody else and you're worried about them, then the archive will also lock the query in place. So now this is all grayed out so that no accidental changes can be made. And in addition, the X's are gone. You can't remove bills accidentally. So that also saves it from any kind of accidental manipulation that you did not intend. So if you want to share it with someone just so they can see it, if you archive it, then it will stay as it was when you sent it. So the Manage tab is still available and you can always unarchive it. So that is new with the new BillTrack50. It used to be a one-way street. Now it is not. You can unarchive and say save and it comes back. But if you've shared a sheet with somebody, if you haven't given them manage permission, then they won't be able to unarchive it either. You can also take a copy of your sheet and archive it before, say, you set an intern loose to go ahead and vet all the bills. So if you have any concerns about what you're about to do with your bill sheet, either who you're going to share it with or who you're going to allow to change it, or you're going to go through and make a bunch of changes to your words and you're just not sure if it's going to end up in a good place and you're halfway happy with how it is now, then you can take a copy and archive that, keep it for safekeeping, and then if something goes terribly wrong with the main sheet, you can always just delete that main sheet, unarchive this, and you're back to where you were. So it's like a save point in a video game, so that before you do anything that you're worried about, you can always do that. And then finally, if you would like to take some snapshots during the year and make a map to show bills getting introduced or our new position map, so you can show like, here's the states and if they were favorable or unfavorable and how it changed over time. Of course, you can always switch the years, not while it's archived, of course, but you could always switch your timeline and say, show me 2021, show me 2020, show me 2019, and take snapshots of those maps and create your time lapse that way. But if you want to do a time lapse during the year, then your best bet is to go ahead and take your sheet and then take a snapshot of it or take a copy of it. Again, that's on the Manage tab. So I've got this autonomous vehicles and I've got this map. And if I had taken a picture of, or if I had saved a sheet in the past, then I would be able to compare this map to that sheet. And in fact, let me go back to bill sheets and look at that. I did save a 2021. It's archived. So I open that up and I look at the map. Then I can see what that looked like back in 2020. So I can compare those back and forth. But I could also do the same thing during the year. So on the Manage tab, I can take a copy of this sheet every month or every week or whatever it is you need, depending on how fast things go in your world. And then you can create like an inside the year look at the trends and how things have developed over the year. And of course, you can use that for the map, but you can use that for anything. So if you want to just make sure that you've got where things were, how many bills there were at a certain time, or how many had passed as of a certain date, or whatever, then you can snapshot that or take a copy of that and archive it, and then you can line those up to create a nice visual evolution of how things have gone. All right, so there's some suggestions for how you can use archive as a pro and maybe do something pretty cool, or at least save yourself some trouble. All right, Karen.